Hello everyone. I'm 7 months pregnant with a child I plan on giving to a wonderful couple, closed adoption. I made this choice because the child was the product of non-consensual sex. I didn't press charges because I was a bit of a party girl and didn't think I would be believed. I honestly have no idea who the guy was. I just remember trying to push him off and being too drunk to do so. My choice to not press charges. My choice to keep the pregnancy. My choice to adopt out. I am comfortable with these choices. They are private and personal and I am keeping most of this to myself. My asshole friends and coworkers have turned it into a game. I was hiding the pregnancy until I started really showing a couple weeks ago. I get that people are curious about it. It's rather surprising. But I saw a betting pool being passed around the office. They are placing bets on who is the father. I was shocked and a little hurt. My friends are also curious. I have one close friend who basically knows everything. She's going to be in the room for the birth for me, and she's not telling anyone. So, rumors are starting. One terrible rumor is that it's my, now former, friend Karen's husband Troy's baby. Karen called me in tears. I went over to her house to tell her to her face it wasn't possible. She demanded to know the truth. I told her it was none of her business and she blasted me on FB. Some friends have been really nice to my face but everything gets back to me eventually. Some people are saying that I'm a paid surrogate. I guess that one is okay. I hate that people are talking about me like this. I made one blanket statement on FB yesterday. I guess I can't hide it anymore. Yes, I am pregnant. I am giving a lovely couple the child they have tried to have for years. It's very personal and private and I ask that you all respect that. It's got a bunch of comments but I haven't read them. I'm going to take a big break from social media. I don't know what else to do or say. I am uncomfortable with everyone's constant questions. I love my job and usually my coworkers. It's my hope that I can suck it up and go back to normal in a few months. Weirdly, I've got great inner peace with everything because I am so happy to be giving the adopting parents, who are the kindest men I have ever met, a kindergarten teacher and a social worker, something they could never have on their own. Here's what I need from the readers of this sub. What can I say that isn't a lie but will shut people up without giving out information I'm not comfortable sharing? I don't like calling her, the baby is female, an accident. The two people who know the whole truth, my friend and my doctor, immediately asked me why I didn't report it. I'm ashamed and humiliated. I really don't want to say much of anything. I think a big part of why this is so hard for me and those around me is that I'm usually really talkative and social. Loudmouthed. I'm in sales so now that I'm showing I'm also dealing with these questions from strangers too. Should I go to my manager about the pool? Laugh it off? Wait for it all to blow over? Update 1. Thank you so much for all the support. I'm glad I posted this. I had a good cry, took an antacid, or 4, and went to the owner, Jim. I told him the truth and I told him that I really didn't want the guys to know and I needed the jokes and talk to stop because it was hurting me. He hugged me and told me he was proud of me, which made me cry again. Fucking hormones. He gathered the staff and had a quick, what he calls come to Jesus, meeting. He announced that he would fire anyone who made me uncomfortable about my pregnancy on the spot and that all the money from the pool needed to end up on my desk, pronto. He was great. He didn't share any of my personal info, he just protected me and made it quick and easy. After we dispersed, he told me I could have an additional week paid medical. I already have 2 weeks sick/vacation I haven't used. I am going to text/talk to my friend and tell her she can subtly let people know what happened, especially Karen. This baby bump is sales gold. I just landed a big commission while sitting. I still think, as great as Jim is, I need to get out of this town. I'll always be a trailer park slut to people around here. My mama died when I was real young and I acted out a lot after that. Everyone knows what I did and won't let me forget. Despite working my ass off to graduate, working my way up to sales lead, buying my home and fixing it up myself. I'm sick of Oklahoma. I'm thinking maybe somewhere in Oregon or Washington. Real pretty up there. Again, thank you for all the kind and helpful advice. I feel so much better. This has always been one of my favorite subs to lurk. Thanks. Comments where Op has replied, Commenter 1, your friends and colleagues are assholes. Tell people simply that you are not sharing details. Keep it simple. Sounds like you do have one decent caring friend. After this was over I would consider launching a fresh start. Given the circumstances of the pregnancy and how everybody is reacting, at least get some counseling to deal with this and maybe plot out some goals and desires for the kind of life you really want. Sorry you have had such a bad experience. Oop, I am thinking about a new start, actually. I love my field, building material sales, and can do it anywhere. I don't have any family. My house would sell for double what I owe. I've been researching towns that I've always liked. My doctor gave me a referral for a therapist, but I wasn't interested. Maybe I should give it a go. Thanks. Oop on why she chose not to reveal anything to her friends about her unplanned pregnancy. Oop, I really don't want people knowing what happened to me. Like I said in my post, the first reaction was why didn't you report it? I hate that I didn't. I hate that some dude is out there, thinking he can do that. I hate that I used to drink so much. I hate that because I used to drink a lot and hook up a lot that people think so little of me. I just don't want everyone to know. I don't want this little girl to ever find that out. Did Oop report the situation to HR? Oop, we're a smallish outfit. We don't have an HR. We have an owner-manager, who I really respect and is kind of like a second father to me. We're 7 guys and me. I've always been one of the guys about this kind of stuff. I should go to the owner and tell him what's up. I've been avoiding him. I've been avoiding everyone. I don't want to be pitied, but this shit it worse. I'm all over the place, sorry. I'm shut in my office with the worst heartburn I have ever felt trying not to cry. Oop should consider about leaving her job. Oop, I still have to work with these guys for another couple months, 40 to 50 hours a week. Maybe longer, I'm still deciding. They just got their PP smacked by work daddy for being insensitive in a place where we regularly tease each other for everything. They did something stupid, but I still want to get along with them. Update 2. Hey guys. I had a few PMs asking for updates and how everything went. It's been a wild ride. I'm posting this from a freezing, but spectacular, beachside hotel on the coast of Oregon. I had a job interview this morning that I feel really great about and 2 more lined up. My house sold fast and I have some money to live on and start fresh. And do I ever need a fresh start? A few days after I made that post, rumors started up again. I was pregnant with my boss's baby, some of you called that. And then it was a coworker's. And then my friend's husband again. To save face, I asked my friend to tell the right blabbermouths the truth. That backfired. Hard. Someone, or some people, I don't know, started posting on Craigslist about me and the baby. There's this section called rants and raves, but I guess people just post garbage there. I looked at some of the posts and someone really has it out for me. They said I was crying rape because I was too slutty to know who the father was. They called me the worst names. I flagged what I could, but new posts kept popping up. I tried to ignore it. I had a good friend write me this long-ass text about how I was making it all worse with my rape story. I was devastated. I guess my prior life and reputation are all people there will ever think of me. I kept my head down and just tried to forget it all. It was affecting my work. I put my house up for sale and made a plan to GTFO. I was at 38 weeks and had resigned my position. My wonderful boss told me I could come back, but I don't want to. I was selling most of my belongings and packing what mattered to me. There's a knock on my door, real late. Later than folks should be knocking. It was a man I kinda know from the bar scene. He was drunk and angry. He told me it was maybe his baby and I had no right to call it rape. I remember talking to him that night, but I really don't remember it being him. But I don't remember anything other than pushing him off and wishing I was stronger. I told him to go home and to leave me alone. I'm trying to brief, but he made the next week hell for me. He was harassing me at my house every day and calling at all hours. He was threatening me and demanding a paternity test. I was terrified that he was going to mess up the adoption. I was growing more and more scared for my safety too. I couldn't sleep or eat. My friend came over and we called the police and told them everything. The officer who came to my house was great. I don't know what they said to him, but it worked and he left me alone. I went into labor the next week. I ended up getting C-section because the baby had turned and was breech. One of her fathers ended up holding my hand. My friend was there but only one was allowed in the room. He got to cut the cord. The baby was perfectly healthy and beautiful. She had this thick, dark hair, the chubbiest cheeks. Her fathers were instantly and madly in love. They took her home the next day. I had to stay a while because of the surgery. It was the hardest 3 days of my life. The hospital sent a therapist in and she was helpful. When I was released I spent a few days in a luxury hotel with my dear friend. I never went home. I paid someone to pack my stuff for me. I spent the next 2 months at my grandmother's house in Texas, recovering and thinking and waiting the cash from the sale of my house. I was terrified I would get a call that the man from the bar had somehow fucked up the adoption, but it hasn't come and I grew less worried. I honestly don't care who the father is. I just want the baby to have a good life. I continued to see another therapist. When I felt well enough, we packed my rig and I took off. There was a vague plan of head west and find it. I went to the Grand Canyon. I saw the Great White Sands. I spent an entire freezing day staring at the ocean in Santa Monica. I did the trip cheap, mostly sleeping my car in cheap hotels. I spent time in every place that I found beauty. I landed here, At the prettiest place I've ever seen. I got a good rate at a motel and got an Oregon driver's license. I thought about changing my name too, but I don't want to change who I am. Just the where. Wow, this ended up being a novel. Thanks again. Next story, caught my husband making out with our best friend in our driveway and then found out that their affair started 10 years ago. So I filed for divorce and a year later they're together. I recently found out that my husband 42 is cheating on me with our married best friend, 32F. She is the godmother to our 4 children. They don't know that I know, but I caught them making out at the end of our driveway when he was seeing her off after dinner with our family. We live on a small acreage and the driveway is a long way off from the main house. She had forgotten some crockery at the house and I decided to walk it over, because for some reason the two of them always took a while to say goodbye. Now I know why. That's when I saw them lit by her car's headlights. Making out in the front seat with our best friend straddling my husband. In shock I didn't know whether to throw her Pyrex at the car or just walk away. I decided the latter, and was too shocked to cry or be angry. When my husband got back, I had to pretend like everything was normal. I know that it's stupid but I couldn't sleep that night and decided to go through his phone. She was obviously under a pseudonym but I found a handful of their messages dating 2 or 3 years. Her husband doesn't know. He's currently posted overseas as a diplomat. I'm sick with rage and betrayal. I'm lost and have no idea what steps to take next. Comments where Op has replied, Commenter 1, collect proof before you blow your lid. It'll give you options. Oop, I want to know too if her husband has any suspicions without telling him. There are a lot of messages exchanged between them, pictures have been deleted but I'm assuming they were nudes. My husband tried to bury their conversation in archives but I found it and there's enough there for me to be able to screenshot when I have another chance. He's conveniently got a work trip on Friday. I'll ask my now ex-best friend if she's available. If she's not, I think I might know why. But need hard proof. Commenter 2, I'm so sorry Op. And that's a double betrayal. If divorce is an option for you, then collect the proofs and get a lawyer. If not, still collect the proof and confront them when you feel ready. Virtual hug. Update 1, whoa, didn't expect this much support. It's really overwhelming. Just to clarify a few things, this is a private account I created just for this post away from my usual account because I was scared it would be traced back to me. I want to remain anonymous as much as I can. I don't live in the US, but in Australia. Technically, I can't file for divorce immediately, as you need to be separated for 1 year and 1 day to file officially. My now ex-best friend just recently returned to the country. Her father has cancer, after being posted with her husband overseas. The dinner was to welcome her home, and what a welcome. There's some comments here about the headlights illuminating them. Sorry I meant over headlights. As to what I'm going to do now, a part of me just wants to confront my husband, see what lame excuse he has. But I need to get away from him. This level of betrayal physically hurts. I can't help but think of all the times we spent together over the years and for how long our families were fooled. My mind is going crazy. When she was single and he would rescue her from some bad date or the times they were alone in my house when the kids and I were out. How irrationally angry he was when he found out she had a boyfriend then chose to marry him. Thinking back on it, the two of them disappeared at her wedding. When I asked him where he was, he said he needed to reassure her that she had done the right thing. I feel so sick thinking of these things. Update 2, thank you everyone for your concern and advice. As of tomorrow my husband is out of town. I've tried really hard to act normal around my now ex-best friend but it's proving difficult and I feel sick. I have been telling both of them that I've caught some terrible bug and just not feeling myself. While my husband is out of town for the next few days, my sister-in-law, who is the only other person who knows, my brother's wife, will help me pack important documents and store them somewhere my husband doesn't know about. I've organized for my kids to stay with them for a week while I sort my shit out. I've spoken to a family lawyer and they have told me that the best way to start the separation procedure is to no longer be living under the same roof. I'm fortunate in that most of our assets are also in my name, and the land our house is on was gifted to us by my parents. I'm planning to kick him out after his trip. But before that, I want to catch them both in the act again. Have some hard proof, send it to the ex-friend's husband and get the ball rolling for moving on with my life. I'll update with what happens after the confrontation. Update 3, my husband came home 2 nights ago from his trip. While he was gone, I had organized a lot of the important documents, e.g. financial, birth certificates, passports, anything that he could potentially use to try and get more than what he deserves. They are now safely stored and my kids have been staying with their aunt and uncle for the past few days. I had packed all my husband's things and he has been really good at keeping his tracks clean because there was no evidence of his affair within his stuff. I placed all his belongings in the garage ready for the confrontation with him. I was super nervous because I wasn't sure if I was making the right decision. Once he came home and I remembered seeing him kissing our best friend, I remembered the deep hurt they had caused. I was in our kitchen when he came home and he knew straight away something was wrong. During that week I had been distant and had barely answered his texts and screened his calls. I did answer every now and again and gave the kids a chance to speak to their dad. He asked me why I hadn't been responding to his texts and he tried to kiss me but I turned away and before I knew it the first things that came out of my mouth were, "I want a separation." I have to admit that he didn't look very surprised when I said it. He nodded his head and said, "What do you know?" Which was just a punch in the gut, because I wanted him to deny it or say something like it was a one-off thing. I asked him to tell me everything, like when did it start? And he said they started about 10 years ago. At first it was flirtatious messaging and a sneaky kiss in the office when they briefly worked together and the affair was on and off. She apparently always felt guilty and her way out of that was to marry the next man that was interested in her and proposed. He admitted that they had sex on her wedding day and when he is out of town they meet. At this point I couldn't breathe and I was sobbing. I hated that the next words out of my mouth was, "Did you even ever love me?" He hesitated and said yes of course but he was never in love with me the way he was with her. I cleared my throat and had said to him that he should tell her husband, there is no point hiding it anymore. I told him that all his stuff was in the garage and he can find somewhere else to stay. I let him know that I have spoken to a family lawyer and I told him that when I feel ready and only when I feel ready will we see each other again and talk about the future arrangement with the kids. I said any further communication can be done through my sister-in-law or my brother. I said, he is allowed to see the kids but only at their place. I am of course wanting full custody of the children because it hurts too much to give him anything at this point. He agreed to all my points because he knew he was in the wrong. He tried to say sorry and then I absolutely lost my shit and screamed, "No fucking no way are you sorry, for 10 fucking years you have both deceived everyone we know. Please take your shit and leave and tell that woman you have been fucking for 10 years that I do not ever want to see her fucking face again." Certainly not my shining moment, but also a culmination of all the hurt and anger over the last few weeks that they have caused. I have no intention of talking to my ex-best friend or really to my soon-to-be ex-husband until I have had the time to grieve. So thank you community for the encouragement and advice. Hope I can heal and move on from this. Update 4, November 14th, 2024. Thank you everyone who has been messaging over the last year to see how I'm going and asking for an update. It's been a crazy, painful year. But our divorce has been finalized. And I'm free. My ex-husband and my ex-best friend, as no surprise, are now in an actual relationship after the ex-best friend's husband found out about the affair. He divorced her, and since then we have met up for coffee to check in on each other and our mental health. He's been great sending encouraging messages and he lives overseas and from his Facebook updates has started dating again. So I'm very happy for him. The legal and custody battles had been fairly stressful but the ex-husband agreed to all my terms. The custody of the children was the only thing he really fought for. I have custody of the kids and he sees them on the weekends. The kids, including myself, have all been going to therapy separately. My ex-husband wants to see them more and during school break the kids have the choice to stay with him or me. They have been good about it and stay with him for a week or so and then back to their mummy. Apart from necessary conversation I steer away from my ex-husband and the ex-best friend. It still hurts so much and I understand that it will take some time to heal. But I am letting go, because I don't want them to have that level of influence over my life. I decided to sell the property we were living in and move closer to family and friends because, as you know, it takes a village. And I have been extremely grateful for the support I have received over the last year. I'm tearing up just as I'm writing this, knowing that I couldn't go through all of this without my loved ones. And for myself, I am happy overall, still a work in progress but grateful for life. The kids and myself have been enjoying life and when we have the time and the money try and take little trips here and there so the traumatic events of the divorce doesn't linger and can be replaced by good memories. Memories where they spent road trips and adventures with their mom.